We now have some concrete information on the future of Hell Let Loose. That includes Update 13 and Update 14. So, in case you don't know, let me run through what is confirmed to be coming in Update 13. And this update is called Flames, Frost and More. Potentially, that's what it's called. Now, in this update, we're getting the T-70 Soviet light tank. Now, I'm looking forward to seeing that getting one-shotted by all the heavy tanks that are always used in the game. But looking from these screenshots, it does look pretty good in action. Jeeps will be coming in Update 13, so what I just want to say, and it's something I've been saying for a long time when it comes to Jeeps. Now, depending on how many vehicles you can actually spawn in, or how many Jeeps, and how quickly you can spawn in multiple Jeeps, I do plan on doing some sort of racing or rallying championship on the channel, like doing it through live streams and just getting people into a server and just having races. So if you're interested in that, subscribe so you don't miss out on it. Flamethrowers are coming. We haven't got any footage or screenshots of flamethrowers yet, but they're definitely confirmed to be coming in, as well as molotovs. There's the first Soviet winter map coming, or snow map we'll really say, and that's Kharkov. This has kind of been known for a few months now, but looking at the screenshots for Karkov, it does look like it could be a good map. We already have a quick look at different times of day, as you can see in the screenshots. I reckon fighting through this bombed out church would be pretty interesting. There's going to be a mixture of farmland, farmhouses, open fields, tree lines and fences, and a railway line going through the map that you can fight through. But I think this church is going to be a key part of the battle. Now also, each faction is getting a winter uniform, and the first one here is the M1943 American winter uniform with an M1 winter helmet. Now I'm pretty sure this uniform didn't exist. Anything I've seen from World War II with the Americans in a snow situation hasn't seen them in a white uniform. And I've already seen a thread pop up on Reddit talking about this, saying that it's not historically accurate. For me, I don't mind it coming into the game. While Hell Let Loose has never been the most accurate representation of World War II in terms of weapons and equipment being used, like the STG wasn't used throughout the entire war and stuff like that, I'm kind of okay with this coming in. Then we have the German uniform, the winter smock with an M42 helmet, and the Soviet winter uniform. The recent news also confirms that Update 14 will be the Commonwealth expansion, not the British expansion, but the Commonwealth, and this is going to be the first major update of 2023. And in a few weeks time we are going to be getting a new roadmap to reflect what the future of Hell Let Loose will be. So initially it was announced that it was just going to be the British, and then in an interview Max, the CEO of Black Matter, did say they were leaning more towards turning it into a Commonwealth expansion, because the Commonwealth forces, which include like Canada, Australia, New Zealand and many others, do use some of the same sort of weapons, mainly like the Lee Enfield Bren gun. The Australians, instead of using the Stent gun as an SMG, they had the Owen, but there's a lot of similarity between what they used, apart from uniforms. So the plan for the different unlockable cosmetics, I believe, will be the different uniforms for these actual individual forces. What this also means is that they can have these different loadouts for the different roles for the Commonwealth forces with these unique weapons that were, we'll say, unique to different parts of the Commonwealth, like the Owen SMG for Australia. So that does mean down the line we will be getting more weapons for the Commonwealth forces, which will be good, and we should still get more weapons for the Americans and the German forces. But it also says that they're going to be introducing a new theatre of war when the Commonwealth comes into the game. And when it comes to the theatres of war in World War II, you have the European theatre, which is already represented in the game. You have the Mediterranean, African and Middle Eastern theatre, and the Pacific. Now, what I believe will be happening here will be the Mediterranean, African and Middle East theatre being represented with the Commonwealth, specifically North Africa. And I believe this because in an interview with a different content creator that Max did, he name dropped El Alamein coming to the, what was originally then the British expansion. Now a lot of people will go back to the Kickstarter campaign and say, well, with the British it said they will come with Operation Market Garden, and that means they should stick to what was said in the Kickstarter campaign. Well, in terms of the Kickstarter campaign, that was made by Black Matter. Black Matter now no longer own Hell Let Loose, it's owned by Team 17, so they don't really have to stick to what the Kickstarter campaign said. But also the British expansion was a stretch goal at $500,000, but the Kickstarter campaign only reached 308,000 Australian dollars. So they didn't even hit that stretch goal of the British expansion anyway. So yeah, if you look at it that way, they don't have to stick by the Kickstarter campaign because it was never going to be included technically in the game anyway. And now we should look at the further future of Hell Let Loose and what could be happening with further expansions or a sequel. Now, Hell Let Loose originally came out of early access in July 2021, which introduced the Soviet forces, and now the British are coming in at the beginning of 2023. We'll say Q1 2023, let's just say March, which will mean that the gap between the Soviets coming and the British coming will be just over 1.5 years. Do I think it would take that long to get another faction into the game? No, and that's because we know that Black Matter are leaving the development of Hell Let Loose once their development contract is up, which I believe is up in July next year, because when Hell Let Loose was purchased by Team 17, Black Matter were given an 18-month development contract in January. So then that would end their development contract July 2023. And from my sources, I have been told that the team that's going to be taking over Hell Let Loose has already been recruited, or at least nearly fully staffed up. They're already being integrated into the game. They've already been trained up. So they're probably already helping to develop future content, which could mean that Black Matter, as we'll say Team A, could be developing the Commonwealth, and the future team could be developing another faction for release later on, which ideally would be the Japanese and the Pacific Theater expansion. But do I think that the Pacific and the Japanese will actually come to Hell Let Loose? I don't think so. And that's because in terms of the tech behind Hell Let Loose, if we look a year ahead from when the British come out, it's going to be a little bit behind what will be currently out or nearly about to come out, with Unreal Engine 5 coming out. The Unreal Engine 4 version that's currently being used by Hell Let Loose, well, I don't know the exact version number, it's already quite a bit behind because we don't have stuff like DLSS in the game, which is an Unreal Engine 4 feature, which is what Hell Let Loose is using, but just an older version of Unreal Engine 4. So they could be trying to put an engine upgrade in. I haven't heard anything about it. Postscriptum recently did it, which brought in DLSS, and that's helped to improve performance across the board. So it would be a good thing for Hell Let Loose to do that. But really what I think is going to happen, because Team 17 are a company, they want money. That's why people make stuff, because they want to get money, right? I believe that Team 17 will be really gearing up towards a sequel, hopefully on Unreal Engine 5, because looking at the technology that Unreal Engine 5 can bring in, it makes games look so much better than Unreal Engine 4, and let's say hopefully play better as well. And I kind of think that Team 17 will want to put their own stamp on the series and not just follow exactly what Black Matter have done. I think Hell Let Loose will slightly change, and I think it should slightly. But I don't think Hell Let Loose 2 should be a World War II based shooter. The only reason I think they should do a sequel set in World War II is if they bring across all the maps and factions from Hell Let Loose 1, pretty much do like an Overwatch sequel, but have a whole load of new content ready to go. And then with all these maps that come over, since they'll be upgrading to Unreal Engine 5, everything will have that extra level of like detail and polish put to it. But really, I think Hell Let Loose 2 will be a different era. Vietnam, Desert Storm, that's what I think will more than likely be touched upon. And I want to know what you guys think, or what you guys hope will happen with Hell Let Loose 1 and Hell Let Loose 2, so chuck down some comments in the comment section below. So I will be planning to do some sort of racing or rallying thing when the Jeeps come in, even if it's just like one Jeep racing at a time, so we can get some like time trials in and get some sort of leaderboard. But ideally I would like to have multiple people racing at once, because I think that'll just be more fun. So I do 100% plan on having that on the channel and live streaming it on the channel as well. So if you like this video, give it a like, dislike if you didn't, sub for more. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.